What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're here for the British Grand Prix in this 2019 career mode. As you can see on screen, we've got Pierre Gasly in a tuxedo in the little image that we have of him. This is of course for the 007 livery that they ran, and obviously same goes for Lewis Hamilton. He's running the British Grand Prix helmet that he had with the Union Jack on the top. Try and keep it up, a little bit up to date with how it goes with real life. Obviously when we get to the point where we now pass what is happening in real life, obviously you won't see as many livery updates and stuff like that, or helmet changes and stuff like that. Maybe a few here and there of fantasy and stuff like that, but for the meantime at least it's nice to have a few little things in there. As you can see, a perfect shot there of Gasly in his 007 tuxedo race suit, which is a very nice touch to this, to say. It's on race department for the guys. Go have a look at it. It's the guy did a fantastic job on it, and yeah, it's came out incredibly well. But we are here obviously for the British Grand Prix. We have qualifying to attend to. We've got a different style helmet this time. You may have seen from the thumbnail, and obviously you can see right now we've gone for the James Bond theme. Obviously we don't have that on the car, but nonetheless, as obviously being British, follow the trend so we're not left out by Red Bull. And it's a pretty cool helmet. It's got James Hunt on the side and stuff like that. But our banker lap didn't actually help us out. You can see we're all over the road, we're over the sausage curb. And, we didn't really improve through the last sector. We managed to get at P5, which puts us out of Q1 into Q2. So you can see on the screen now, Albon, Norris and Butler, all very close proximity with one another. But obviously Kubica, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Magnussen and George Russell out in Q1, which is disappointing for George. Obviously, George would have loved to obviously get up into Q2. That would have been fantastic. You can see the clouds are starting to come down over the Silverstone circuit. We're going to come across the finish line again all over the place. There's like no consistency with our final sector. We really are struggling on tyres, but we're just going to see what we can do. We're actually maybe going to advance the sessions a little bit, see how well we do. We're sat in P10 at the moment. It is going to be quite touch and go. We might have to go out again, just to be safe, as we don't want to be eliminated this early on our home Grand Prix. So we go out. We don't actually go for a lap time. We kind of go around waving to the crowd. It's kind of like, what's up, guys? Hello. And inevitably, yeah, we do actually end up getting knocked out of Q2 just due to the simulation, which is kind of disappointing, obviously, because I feel if it wasn't simmed like that, we probably wouldn't find it. It was actually Kimi Raikkonen who eliminated us, not by much either, not much in that at all, but a little bit disappointing. So, it's a bit disappointing, obviously, not making it into Q3. Would have been nice to put an appearance as the Red Arrows fly over doing their signature, whatever the hell they do. But we got Mercedes on pole position. However, it's not actually Lewis Hamilton, so hashtag best fans will not be best pleased with Bottas actually stealing the pole position there from Hamilton. But very interesting to see where Hamilton will be as we look at the starting grid now. So like I said, Bottas on pole position. Alongside him will be Charles Leclerc, followed by Sebastian Vettel. Lewis in fourth, so that's going to be a bit of a task to get past both of the Ferraris. Gasly and Verstappen looking very spick and span in their suits, if I do say so. Perez P10, not too bad for himself. Obviously ourselves P11. Daniel Ricciardo P14. Just ahead of him is Alexander Albon, which is quite ironic. But I guess it's time to get into the Grand Prix. So we are all set, ready for our first ever British Grand Prix here for our home race. We're ready for the 5 lights to go out, and immediately they are out. You can see Raikkonen getting off to a really wheel speedy start. You've got Lucas Weber on the right hand side going really close to us. We're going to go all the way around the outside, and you can see there's been a bit of contact in the background, and on the mini map that looks like it's Weber. We go down the inside of Kimi Raikkonen, and Devin Butler's just ahead, but Kimi's going to fight back here. We are on the softer compound tyre, and Kimi is on the super soft, so he might have a little bit of better traction at the start. You can see we're going side by side, and he's going to be very close, and he just backs out of it and gives us the position. So we're up into P9. You can see Butler trying to make a move here on, I believe that's Max Verstappen, so Butler's getting really ballsy. We lock our front left tyre, which gives Kimi Raikkonen an opportunity, but Perez has done him. He's gone actually into our side pod. So Perez getting really aggressive on the opening laps, and similar to real life, he actually loses his front wing in that overtaking manoeuvre. But we're going to look at a replay of the start. You can see we said Lucas Weber was right up against us, and in turn 1 there was a bit of contact, and Weber was very far down, and you can see he just taps Perez a little bit, which is why he's a little bit further down the grid. But moving on to lap 2, we've got Devin Butler just ahead of us, followed by Lando Norris, his teammate, and we're going to get in the slipstream of Devon and see if we can actually make a move here. And I tell you what, Butler's actually going to fancy a move here on his teammate Lando Norris. Going to go down the inside and see if we can pick up any scraps. We get a bit of oversteer going into the corner, but Devon Butler looking very vulnerable. But we have a little look, but we're not going to make a move just yet. Lando actually ends up locking his tyres going into the braking zone. So these McLarens aren't on the pace at the moment. We've got to deal with Kimi Räikkönen though, coming at us on a massive charge with DRS wide open. The McLarens are fighting ahead of us. We've got to deal with Kimi Räikkönen going round their outside, but we managed to close that off just about. Again, the McLarens are going hammer and tong at the moment. Norris on the inside, Butler on the outside. Butler should get a better run out of the corner, indeed he does. So Butler actually managed to make it past Lando Norris, which is interesting. But coming on to the hangar straight, you can see we're right up the gearbox of Lando. We've got DRS wide open into overtake mode, rich mix, and I'm going to easily get past. It looks like we have a chance at Devon Butler. Look at the inside, and we're going to go side by side, and we get the move done on Devon Butler, overtaking both McLarens, and effectively the hangar straight, like it was slam dunk into the braking zone. We had enough of a car alongside. But moving on to lap 5, you see we've got a bit of a buffer to Norris, and there's quite a bit of a gap to Gasly, which is quite interesting. We've got a green flag and a yellow flag in sector 1, so somebody has some issues here. Who is it? It's going to be George Russell, bless him. He had an awful qualifying, and it seems his race hasn't gotten any better. So that's one Brit out of the Grand Prix. Luckily for us, Norris is just behind us. He's fighting back with Kimi Räikkönen, which has given us a great opportunity just to extend our advantage and try and make some inroads onto Pierre Gasly, who is once again dropped down, and see if we can catch him to the best of our ability. But I did say earlier on in the video about our helmet. There it is, a beautiful tribute there to James Hunt. We've got the 007 obviously on the top left as well, but I wanted to do something very similar to obviously the 007, and I figured with the theme of black, James Hunt's helmet works out pretty well, and obviously moving the stripes as well onto the top of the visor, keeping the Red Bull logos of course, as we can't really not put them on. Lap 12, and we've got a pretty massive gap. Everyone's starting to make their pit stops. We're currently in P2, as we're a bit out of sync. Myself and Leclerc on the soft compound tyre, and it's actually a safety car has come out, and I'm not entirely sure why. I believe obviously somebody retired. I'm not quite sure who that was. So we went in the pit lane, hopefully was going to get a free pit stop which could move us up a few places, but as you can see, as we come out the pit lane, the Red Bulls are going through turn 1 now, and they're just unfortunately going to jump us. But that does put us in a very solid P7 just behind the Red Bulls, and if we can challenge them, obviously continue our rivalry with Pierre Gasly. And you can see we've got the 2 McLarens behind us, followed by Kimi Räikkönen, one of the Haas cars, and our teammate Albon, who's actually doing bits this race. He's actually performing amazingly, which is quite surprising. He's been a bit down on performance so far this season, but it looks like he can actually get some points here. So we're ready for the safety car to go back in. We're about to get on the way, as we've got a beautiful shot of on board. You can see the back of the Red Bull with the 007. I just like that shot, so I figured I'd include it. As we warm up the tyres, you go straight to the actual in-game footage, and you can see the safety car comes in, and I'm going to try and get on the way. Our tyres weren't warmed up properly. You can see we get a bit sideways on the exit. We don't actually manage to make a pass on Pierre Gasly. We move on to lap 16, but Norris out of nowhere on these tyres, banging tyres going into turn 1, and that was a very aggressive move from Lando, ourselves as well, going into the corner. You can see we've got a massive fight here with the McLaren's Butler now. First time, instead of Lando Norris, it's actually Devon Butler who's going to try and mount a challenge. He's going to go round our side into Cops. He's not going to make the move. We're sparking away with how low our ride height is. But you can see he's going to go try and go to the outside of Maggots, and we're going to hold the position into Beckett's. And Lando Norris could catch up potentially through this. We get a bit sideways through these section of corners. Our car is not planted on these tyres. Our car does not fancy them one bit. We're going to go all the way to the left-hand side, try and break the toe of Devon Butler. We've got Norris coming in as well as Kimi Räikkönen, but a little few laps later, Devon Butler's just dropped off the face of the earth. But Lando trying to go down our inside into turn 1. We hold the position just about, but Lando and Devon really, really feisty at this stage of the race. We ain't got much longer to go, but McLaren's out of nowhere have got incredible pace. We've just been dropped by Gasly and the other 5 cars ahead of him. Like, they've just gone into the sunset. We're fighting with the McLaren so much that we just lost so much time. Because in Lando, once again, he's got amazing straight line speed. He's going to go down our inside. I'm going to try and get the switch back here, but he actually blocks us. He parked his car perfectly, and we had not really any response to that. Because see, on the exit, we've got a little bit better traction than him, so our rear wheel's doing bits for us at the moment. We're going to try and get into the slipstream as best we can. Overtake mode and everything we ain't got enough of a gap to make it into Cops. So we're going to try and see if we can line up 4 Maggots and Beckett's as best we can. We're closing and closing and closing. We're going to go to the left-hand side. We're going to go all the way around the outside into Maggots, and that is it. Job done on Lando, but I can't help but feel that it's not going to be the end of it. We go really wide. We're really struggling on the exit of that corner. Now Lando is going to have DRS on us and see if he's going to try and mount the challenge. We're going to go all the way to the left-hand side. I don't feel like he's going to try and make a move. In fact, he doesn't care. He's still going to make a move. We had to defend the inside. He's going to go all the way around our outside. Oh, that was dangerous there. We almost made contact, and he does actually manage to back out of it and let us concede the position. But you can see straight away he is back on our tail. Lando Norris is on a mission at the moment. This guy is not giving up. He's going to go round our outside this time. We're going to try and hold the inside as best we can. We're going to bang tyres. Oh, side by side. It is so close between ourselves at the moment. We get, again, good traction on the exit here, but he just parks the car perfectly. There's no way around him at this point. But we're going to see. We'll have to try and do the exact same thing we did last lap. Just try and take him in the Maggots and Beckett's, because we've got a really good exit out of Cops, and that just seems to help us out a little bit. We didn't get as good of an exit, but again, we're closing. This time I'm going to go down the inside of Maggots and hold around the inside, but he holds it off again. Norris is doing an amazing job to keep us behind. We're going to try and attempt to go past him down the hanger straight. Grosjean a little bit further behind us. We ain't got to worry about him. It's just myself and Lando. You can see he's pulling to the left-hand side. We're going to look down his inside, similar to what we did to Devon, and it looks like just about got the move done. We need to be careful because we've got no ERS left. We've got no fuel left. We are putting everything on the line to defend from Lando at this point, but we're coming on to start the final lap. We're harvesting as best we can. Lando's going to try and look down our inside all the way to the left-hand side, try and get a better run into turn 1, and we managed to just squeeze him out a little bit, and he had to go on the brakes to avoid that. We can see our ICE is actually really struggling on the back half of this race, which doesn't help us in a straight line, but all this fighting has let our teammate Alexander Albon in P9 actually catch up to us. So Norris is not going to try and go around or outside at Cops, surely. He's going to give it a go. He's actually going to make it work. Jesus Christ, Lando Norris, this race has come alive for his home Grand Prix. You can see we're going to try and make a move. We can't do it. He's just doing the best job I've seen an AI car do in terms of defending. He's just put the car in the right place, but coming down the hanger straight, just like we did last time, we've got DRS, we've got rich mix, overtake mode, -6 on lap fuel, but we're going for it. We want to make an impression in our first home Grand Prix. Down the inside of Lando Norris, straight into lean, into no ERS mode. We're going to have to defend into the final few corners here. Lando's going to try and make a move. We lock our front left. We managed to hold off the position. Albon can't quite get past him. We get a little bit sideways on the exit. You can see we're on low fuel, and we are just about going to come across the line, and we're going to fend off Lando. Although that was a titanic battle between myself and him. It would have been interesting to see where Devon would have been in that, but I can't explain how tense it was racing that race. Like, it was so difficult just to hold him back. I don't know where the McLaren got that pace from, I really don't. But Lewis Hamilton does win the British Grand Prix. Very similar, obviously, to real life. But very interesting that Leclerc obviously dropped off, you know, being on a different compound of tyre. I believe he went onto the hards, same as ourselves, which obviously compromised us a little bit. Bottas in P2 as well, just like in real life. Instead of Charles Leclerc on the podium, it is Sebastian Vettel. Again, like I said, Charles Leclerc just dropping off there. Mercedes boys celebrating as you expect that they would, but Bottas showering Lewis Hamilton on his 6th British Grand Prix win here at Silverstone. So well done to Lewis for that, but that was got to be one of the best battles of the season for sure. I don't know what else could top that. It was just absolutely mental. But looking at the results, you can see our teammate in P9, Kimi P10, Weber actually coming back through the field into P13, not managing to get points there. But yeah, Devon Butler just literally dropped out of nowhere. Like, he was quite competitive and he just vanished. But yeah, massive props to Lando for giving us a massive old scrap there. We couldn't quite catch Pierre, guys. You can see we're quite a way off of him there, but what can you do? But we're going back to the home screen. You can see we've got a few more things to do. We've got quite a lot of R&D points we're going to try and use and try and clean up the car a little bit, especially the aerodynamic department, which is I think as we saw last race, it was a bit difficult. But you can see with that upgrade there, we would actually go top of the field, which is pretty interesting to say the least. But that's been it for this video, guys. If you've enjoyed, please do slap a like on it. If you are new around here, please make sure to subscribe for F1 content that comes out every other day. Not every day, unfortunately, I haven't got the workload to do that. But yeah, every other day is what we're going for, and I've been able to do that. But until next time, guys, that's been it for me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.